I'm Sarah Murphy. Glad to have you here with us. We begin tonight with this. The brother of a top leader in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is in police custody here in Utah, accused of child sex crimes.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. Article of Faith, number 12. We believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, in obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law. This was the Wentworth letter to I guess he was a Christian reporter, if I remember correctly. 1842, 3, 8, I don't think 8, it was 42 or something like that. And so it wasn't published by Joseph Smith, but published in the Times and Seasons, and thus President Richards of the England mission brought it with him for his little pamphlets that he handed out. And then I think it was even included in part of, in the Pearl of Great Price version of John Taylor. If any of you remember when I did the church history research on why is it called the Pearl of Great Price? Oh my God. ZZ Top. I never knew. I never knew until the bishop in the Riverton younger singles ward prevented all of the younger singles from burying their testimony one fast and testimony meeting by listing out all of the violation of NoFap. Which I just found out about this year, thanks to a death threat by a Mormon superhero for NoFap. I grew up Mormon, and yet this neo-Mormonism here in Utah, dear God, what have you done to my religion? What have you done? Section 134 by Joseph Smith. That was part of his 1835 Doctrine and Covenants, entitled on government, he explains that government must adhere to the First Amendment of the United States of America, Bill of Rights, Constitution, in which freedom of religion must be allowed. Government have a right and are bound to enact laws for the protection of all citizens in the free exercise of their religious beliefs, so long as regard and reverence are shown to the laws, and such religious opinions do not justify sedition nor conspiracy. Did you catch that, Mormons? So in the United States of America, there is clergy penitent privilege, that when a member of a religion goes to his clergy and confesses his crimes, the clergy wants protection from narking on the member. Because if the members know that they can't confide in their parishioner to report their crimes, they're not going to come to church. And thus they'll lose money. Sale of indulgences. And for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the bat line that has been exposed. So no, the Church's own published canon doctrine says no hotline to protect the church, and thus protect the abuser, the criminal. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints must have membership that obey the laws of the land. Members of the church cannot be criminals. Read it yourself. Read it yourself. I gave you the references. Article of Faith, number 12, Doctrine and Covenants, section 134, verse 7. You can even read the context, because verse 10 is that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints cannot be listed as a government entity, Mark Shartliff. Because if you're saying that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a government entity, then they have formed a seditious conspiracy against the United States of America. Verse 7. Are you going to revise this? Is Mark Shartliff going to revise this count? We'll get back to you, Your Honor. Good old days. You bastards. So, yeah, in 2008, when such an incident occurred, Todd Christofferson, newly called to be an apostle of the Lord Jesus in 2008's April conference, as Faust and Hinckley bit the big one with their accompanying signs in the heaven. I was the only one on the face of the earth who knew about it and put the moon to the test on this one. Others know about the king for a day of Assyria. I, taking that information, was the only one who applied it to the moon. And the sun also applied. As I would find out. So, as the Strengthening Church Members Committee, they are required to report to bishops, stake presidents, any member of the church involved in criminal activities. Any member of the church who's going against the doctrines of the church. To help them return to the covenant path. They are straying. We need to force their agency to bring them back. But again, number 10, they cannot be a government to physically punish or physically put to rights what is not rights in the eyes of the religion. Todd was the clerk during the Nixon hearings. He knows all about patriotism and loyalty to the United States of America, even if that patriotism and loyalty takes down a president of the United States of America. Thus, he would also have access to certain documents and records. And the names, signs, and tokens associated with them that were not privy to us previously. In other words, he knew who killed JFK. He knows about Deep Throat, the Mormon. He knows about Deep Throat, the movie, therefore. For which it was codenamed as the Mormon. Those FBI guys, they're so funny. All the president's men. Yeah. A major historical event. Major historical event. So, yes, Todd Christofferson knows what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints ordered him to do to me in 2008. And so yesterday I responded to a comment about James J. Hamula. It was Abundant Life. This other one was by somebody else. Okay. And so in going over James J. Hamula again, now with the added knowledge that I've obtained since the test run for Armageddon in 2020, Oaks got leaked. I know that Todd, if not also James J. Hamula, were on the Strengthening Church Members Committee, knowing about me and my file number 36434. 15 terabytes. And so you guys have all of my Deseret News comments, don't you? Even though you had the Deseret News erase them all from history. Interesting. Interesting. You want to email them to me? Since you erased them, will you be emailing them to me so that you can see my actual quote regarding the Big Bang Theory, which has been falsified and therefore cannot ever be used, and R-rated movies, as every Mormon has misquoted Benson. Article of Faith number 13. Women are beautiful, lovely, and of good report and praiseworthy, and therefore we're supposed to seek after them. So bleep you. Degrading women. Again, there are scriptures in place that must be followed if you're going to claim these as your scriptures. D. Todd knows this. In the news, finally, after 5 o'clock yesterday, only KSL and ABC4. Hi, Sarah. Still waiting for you to wear the pink again. What you had was great too, but very dark on the screen. Your people should teach you and have you wear color appropriate for video dresses. In person, yeah, perfect. But on camera, there's a difference. You should have professionals at ABC4 who should have done this correctly. So the wardrobe was... Call me. There's a reason why Alana Brophy can't wear green. Or black, because black two-dimensionalizes. Oh my God, call me. I'm sure she will. her she will. She's an Aries and I'm a Pisces. I'm sure we are a perfect match. They finally came out and reported that Wade Christofferson, the brother of Todd, got busted for his crimes, and the charges were made. And that's why the news finally reported it. Federal government filed charges in Ohio. So in the state of Ohio, the laws of Ohio, Ohio Rev Code N 2151.2 or 421A1A says no person, specifically for child abuse, rule and explanations described specifically in the statute for clergy and victim and abuser, shall fail to immediately report, end quotes, suspected child abuse or neglect. Mandated reporters include a person other than a cleric, rendering spiritual treatment through prayer in accordance with the tenets of well-recognized religion. As to clerics, no cleric and no person, and then blah, 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 shall fail to immediately report that knowledge or reasonable cause to believe to the entity or persons specified in this division. A cleric is not required to make a report pursuant to division of this section concerning any communication the cleric receives from a penitent in a cleric-penitent relationship, if in accordance with division of section the revised code, the cleric could not testify with respect to that communication in a civil or criminal proceeding. And so they can't divulge what was said, but they have to immediately report that knowledge and reasonable cause to believe, but cannot be asked to testify to that end. Okay? Ohio law regarding child abuse. And then there's other things with this. The waiving of testimonial privilege, and abuse of adults. Clerics must report if they have reasonable cause to believe that an adult is being abused, neglected, or exploited, or is in a condition which is a result of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. And then they define what an adult is over the age of 54. Ohio doesn't give a damn about the United States Constitution and the amendment lowering it to 18. State of Utah, where Wade was arrested, turned himself in. For A of 82602 child abuse and neglect reporting requirements. Exceptions. 4A. When a member of the clergy receives information about abuse or neglect from any source other than confession or the perpetrator, the member of the clergy is required to report the information, even if the member of the clergy also received the information about the abuse or neglect from the confession of the perpetrator. When a member of the clergy reasonably believes that a child is the subject of an ongoing abuse or neglect, the member of the clergy may report the information even if the perpetrator made a confession to the member of the clergy regarding the abuse or neglect. Okay, so there's more involved, obviously, but that's what we wanted to focus on. Because Wade was from Ohio. And then all of a sudden he was in Utah last week. He's D. Todd's brother. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Did he come early for Thanksgiving to avoid the holiday rush? Record-breaking holiday rush? Everybody knows Armageddon's coming, so they're eating, drinking, and getting married. For tomorrow we die. There is that tendency in human behavior, isn't there? A suicidal tendencies. You lifted that ban, right, YouTube? Oh my hell. When I saw them pull that stunt on that song, oh, some heads are gonna roll. Oh my God. So, he turned himself in. He fled Ohio. He turned himself in Utah. And because Ohio filed charges, there will have to be an extradition to Ohio. So there's going to be an extradition hearing where Wade stands before the judge and responds to the judge saying, "Are you Wade S., whatever the S stands for, Christofferson?" As reported in the warrant. And he will say yes or no. If he says no, then there's going to have to be a hearing and proceedings for the prosecution to have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Wade S. Christofferson is the Wade S. Christofferson in their accusation. If he says yes, as he turned himself in, thus he's expected to say yes, not surprise everybody by saying, "No, it's not me. I turned myself in for nothing." D. Todd kicked me out of his home, and so I need a place to stay. So I turned myself in. I made a false statement so I can get a free room and board in the Salt Lake County Jail. So yes, he's turning himself in. D. Todd is a clergy who can perform clergy functions, even now that he's in the first presidency especially, but even in the 12, even though it was the High Council and not the 12 missionaries. If we're going to follow the written scripture word, but as the member of the First Presidency, he can take confessions. They can have the bishop's court escalated to the stake president's court to the First Presidency to decide the matters of verse 10. For that kind of punishment, no other. And so, according to the laws of Utah, which the church knows very well because of the needing to adjust this after the church got busted for the hotline, letting crimes go free and punishing the rape victim. And so here, a brother who's also clergy, we know turned him in. You need to turn yourself in. You cannot stay in my presence. So good. Todd did the honorable thing in obeying, honoring, and sustaining the laws of the land, even when it was his brother, even when it was a fellow member of the church, even as he is designated as a clergy according to the laws of the land. The laws of Utah says he must report it. So, don't make me report you, brother. Fine. And he turns himself in. Todd knows of the big scandal of this. And that's why they tried to keep it as secret as possible and failed. They were able to silence the press, but not we the apostates. And so his brother is now going to be punished for his crimes. Not the past history in Illinois where he was just disfellowshipped. Because if he were excommunicated, he'd have to get rebaptized. And so that is not the case because he went on to get callings in Ohio. So it was just disfellowshipment. As apostates did not know the answer to that. They were shocked and horrified. He could have been excommunicated and he still had callings in the church. No, he was just fellowshipped. Or if it may have even been probation. Because, I mean, you guys are apostates. You know about the punishments. Come on. Come on. Come on. Nonetheless. So, Todd Christofferson, I know you will get a reporting of this video of mine, most likely after the holiday weekend on Monday, December 1st. As the Strengthening Church Members Committee would return to work. Which is stupid. You guys know better than to do that for me. I know better than to do it for you. I keep track of you every single day. I know my enemy. Do you know yours? Nope. You put out my brother's report on his birthday. You dumbasses. You do not know me, do you? Oh my God. Oh my God. You have failed. Todd knows the importance of a thorough investigation if they're going to prosecute a case. And you failed with me. You assumed too much. It's a trap! Yeah. Can you name that quote? I like that show. Name that tune. I like that. That was pretty good. I could do it in one note. One note. I was that good. As long as it was 80s music. Had marriage on my mind and family during the 90s. So I was taken away from music, taken away from America. What is this music in Canada? What are they playing here? I do not recognize this. So, Todd Christofferson, who turned in his brother, who turned in a fellow member of the church. I have a question for you. You, as the second counselor in the first presidency, knows everything about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints now. You have known the total asset value of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You have been in the Strengthening Church Members Committee. You know. You know that you are required by your religion to honor, obey, and sustain the laws of the land. You know that your religion's canon requires you to report criminal activities to your government, even if you have to be a whistleblower. You know, like Brother Nielsen of Ensign Peak Advisors. You know what you must now do. You must report all the crimes committed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You do not have the right to withhold that criminal knowledge from the government. You know that to do so would make you an accomplice in sedition and conspiracy. You are giving aid and comfort to the criminals of the United States of America. And to all the rest of you listening, You too know. Are you going to do the right thing and keep your temple covenant path? Which is it? Yeah, it's over. You busted. To use Seth Meyers' thing. You're busted. Shake down, take down, you're busted. Because we used dirty laundry yesterday. So, yeah, you're busted. It's actually Shakedown. Beverly Hills Cop 2, or 1. Right? It's 1. Along with the other. Yeah, I think we're going to need to listen to that this morning. Gonna need to listen to it. So yes, for any Mormons who are listening and are wetting themselves because, oh crap, the church isn't true, how did this happen? I thought it was true. My spiritual witnesses were feeling a tingling. Yeah, no, you didn't study. So that technically is the video in and of itself, but we got some stuff in the news to cover. This is short stuff. It's holiday week, and so news is slim, nothing. That was the big news. There's some other big news, but not compared to that big news. The church must call it quits. So, yeah, I'm right here. You know who I am. You've known since 2008. You know what you now must needs do. And in case you want to claim stupidity, Section 103, verses 15 through 18. I'm waiting. Call me. Distinguish yourself from Sarah, though. Sarah takes precedence. If I'm on the line with Sarah, you're going to have to wait. And if Sarah calls while I'm on with you, I gotta hang up. She's a little whammy. She's an Aries. She's a lamb. With very sharp teeth. I don't know Sarah. I just know from ABC4. That's it. She has no clue who I am. So yes, I don't expect to ever see her. Because if I do, I might wet myself. Oh crap, she's here in front of me. Oh crap, does she know? It's all fun and games. All fun and games until... So, yesterday, on my revisiting when MTG fulfilled Book of Mormon prophecy. Come on. A Bob I. Kusrex, which is still Bob I. Kusrex. He's been on YouTube since June 17th, 2011, and getting a download of the various years. I came across the year when YouTube's first video was posted. That made the history books. But anyway, YouTube has crashed and burned since. Catering to Big Corp, screwing over what YouTube was meant to mean in the beginning. Nonetheless, now they demand that I pay them if I want views. Bleep you, YouTube, you traitors. You conspiratorial, seditious traitors. We're gonna be so rich, screwing over everybody to steal money. We'll be so rich, so brilliant. So we'll just call him Bob. Got no thumbnail picture despite all these years of being on YouTube. He's got no video content. He's just been a viewer. And he has an account to make comments and put thumbs down. So his comment was, guys, see, he's not even talking to me. This almost got him banned in and of itself, except I kept reading. We missed the remembrance of Josephine Taylor, the martyred daughter of John Taylor, and a sad emoji tear. So, I know John Taylor had many wives. I know John Taylor would have had children. It would not have surprised me if there was a Josephine, but I do not know of it. I went doing a Google search to try to find her, and could only find Reddit. The apostate site for speculation accusation of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so, whenever this was, Mormon True Crime and History, Temple Square, and it's got a woman that is so small of a thumbnail that I can't tell. It could be Candace Owens for all I know. It's too small. But posted a meme of a claimed Hartford Courant, December 18th, 1879. So if I wanted to confirm if this is a legitimate meme, or if it's a forged thing that there is the tendency to do for profit quotes, you have to check. They don't always list which conference session or which conference they gave that statement from that is posted. So I've had to search for them and find them. Packer, for example, says a testimony is found in the bearing of it. He did not give that in a talk, in conference. And so I found that quote came from his book that he published, as he claims he was talking to missionaries and told them that at the MTC. So you need to know the source information. And so this person provided me with the source information that if I wanted to spend the extra time, as I had to go late last night because of the breaking news. Which, yeah, did you guys seriously wait an extra day? Seriously? Because the next day still is the fulfillment of the sign in the heavens, you dumbasses. Todd, come on. I still nailed it. It counts, especially when you posted my brother that day. That counts too. You guys never learn. You never learn. Never go up against a seer when eternal salvation is on the line. I built up an immunity to you. I'm pretty sure all of my audience knows the reference. Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, morons. So, says Ogden, December 17th. Josephine Taylor, age 22, daughter of the president of the Mormon Church, attempted to escape from Utah and her father's harem yesterday. She got on a Union Pacific train, but having no ticket or money, was put off at the first station. She endeavored to get the agent at Uinta to secret her, but he refused, and her father's friends being notified, she was taken back to Salt Lake today. Why not have aided her? Question mark, in quotes. Still not enough. Still not enough. So I checked the person's posting. So it talks about the Utah asylum, the harem, some other stuff. This is quite a lengthy paragraph, run-on sentence. But no source information. The person's just making the statement. There are 360 people who upped it, and apparently nobody downed it, and there's 110 comments. And this seems to be an exclusive club, because even the people who commented don't have anybody who downed it. It's not a thumb, it's an arrow. For Reddit. And so, even though this information is itching ear tingling, meat for the base of Reddit of apostates, it has no source information. It's just hearsay. I cannot trust this. The Hartford Courant? Sure. But the added information by the person who posted this? No. I know of the Salt Lake City asylum. They're claiming the Salt Lake City asylum. It's Provo. And so are you talking about another asylum in Salt Lake City? Because I just did this video again the other month. See, because it says Salt Lake City Asylum and then the Provo Asylum until she died in 1921. But again, I can't find her on a Google search. This is all I found. Now, if I am related to the Taylors, I can get on to Family Search and find the family information. I'd have to try to remember what my password was and my username. And would most likely have to call up and they would say, well, give me your membership number. I don't know if it made it to this apartment. Hold on an hour or 5 or 3 days as I go through every single box to see if I got it. I know I can go into my bishop, say, I'm here. Can I have a printout of my membership record that is given out to us at every tithing settlement, now renamed, as it is this season. I can go in, yes, I'd like to report I am not a tithe payer. Can I have my report, please? Well, you need to give us your personal information, and then we need to contact downtown, and then they will then send us, and it's quicker these days, right? 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 So it can be done during the weekday. Instantly submitted, and then the bishop can print it out. Should be quicker. If you're going to hand over everything to me, Todd, or Irene, I will expect a quick response when I put out the call for Mormons to come to Zion. I do not want to have issues with modern technologies available. I am well aware you guys are way behind. Dear God. I mean, beehive clothing, oh my hell. Oh my hell. It was so primitive. So primitive. I just walk in, say, oh, we've tried all different kinds of ways. This is the best that we could come up with. There's no other better way. Wow, that is incredible. How, oh my goodness. How did you do that? I've told that story before. If you're still listening, you haven't heard it. I got transferred to Beehive Clothing way back in the day. It was in 2000, somewhere around there. I got the job the very first day I applied. They beat out the other people who were slow to reply to me. And being the church, it had great insurance for the little family that I had, blah, blah, blah. And so since August 1996, I was working for the church until after 9/11 and into the next year of 2002, when the boss tried to claim that my work sucked and therefore I was not going to be getting the raise that I should be getting. I wasn't concerned about the amount of raise that I would get. I was concerned that he said that my work sucked. because I know he lied, to justify the poor amount of raise. Also tried to claim 9/11 as the excuse also. So I called him out on it. And then he was scared that I caught him in his lie. And ran out crying. I want him fired. Fire him. What? Why are you throwing a tantrum? You're the manager. You're supposed to have more emotional control. And so I just said, screw this place, my hell. And I went on vacation leave. For 2 weeks. And then I went and got a job. And then I get a call one day. Are you coming back to work? No. Bleep you guys. They tried to extort me to submit to their will, and I wouldn't. So they lost out. I was their best employee that they ever had because of what I did for them. And they threw it all away. Just like what they did with the footnotes. So, transfer over to Beehive Clothing because they need help. I became part of a 7-man crew that works 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And we had to work overtime on Saturdays to catch up on the amount of boxes of underwear from the garment floor that we had to put into their storage place. We also had a pick line for Beehive Clothing that shipped out, so we had a shipping department as well. And so, despite the overtime on Saturday, we still were behind come Monday, but we were better caught up. This was a continuous thing, and overtime costs extra money. The church didn't want this. The church was involved in remodeling the distribution center on 17th and 19th. And so they were wanting to transfer Beehive Clothing over to the main center for their crane operations. I warned you not to do it for the pick line. You didn't listen. The company blamed the people for being mentally retarded rather than them and their stupidity in designing it for the pick line. That's another problem in Utah, by the way. And so, yeah, they gave me all the excuses. There's nothing more we can do. There's nothing we can... we just got to get paid extra money. I'm not in it for the money. And even though the manager told me after he had found out that I had fixed the problem, sometimes it's best not to fix the problem. Bastard. You're talking about criminal operations screwing over your company. And so yes, there was that tendency in the human factor of the employees to screw over their company to get as much money from them as they can so that they can survive, because the company screws them over. Nonetheless, I don't care about any of that. If I work for you, it's because I'm going to work for you. I'm going to do the best job I can to have the business prosper. I don't do it for money. You cannot compromise me. You cannot extort me. You cannot whatever. I do what I do, and I don't care about anything else. People are always shocked by that. Is this for real? He's up to something. Kill him! So, 7 people, 40 hours plus overtime every single week. 2 people, 4 hours, done. And even after that process, once they transferred everything over, because this was exactly what we were looking for to figure this all out. It was the answer to our prayers. Kill him! Kill him! Yeah, it only required the one person after that, because there's no pick line anymore. It was transferred over to the main center, and no shipping other than to transfer the box case lots on the truck over to the main store. That's it. That's exactly what they needed. I redesigned the whole setup and redesigned the storage shelving. Real simple. So yeah, when people tell me it can't be done, I don't believe you. You're not fooling me. But anyway, back to Bob. So I told him, I need source information. Linked him to the 3-hour video I just did that goes over source information. How source information gives you the real church history. I wasn't being mean. I just said I need source information. I can't find it. I did a search. I could only find Reddit. Sorry. Help me out. He responded with, it's unclear as to which one was first. It's most likely the top one, whereas the bottom one is first on YouTube. Anyway. He responds with, why should I provide sources? Oh, hell. Because it's hearsay? If it's not sourced, it is potentially a lie. You know, like the church's claims about church history. I Googled it and got it from Google. Link me to it then. Give me the source. Because I didn't find that yesterday was the date of the martyred daughter. I can't find it. I found 1921 when she died, but no source. How do you know that yesterday was the day? Give me the source. Don't just tell me and expect me to believe you, as you were going to guys rather than to me. I allowed your comment because I wanted the source. This is information that would be vital to have, especially after the Reddit claim without a source. I want the source. How hard is it for apostates to provide sources about how the church isn't true? Give me sources. Don't just make stuff up. And so, yes, this guy is all about making stuff up. Hearsay. Purposely causing contention with accusations. And so, I trust Google more than I trust a rock and a hat. You didn't watch the 3-hour video, did you? Because I went over the rock and a hat with sources. He thinks I'm a Mormon supporter. I just want to scream. Really? So my claim that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a sister missionary for the church. I cannot communicate with such people. They don't care to know the truth. They don't care about facts. They don't care about source information. It's all about causing chaos, anarchy, contention, argument. You don't have to do that for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church is nowhere near true. Right, D. Todd? Call me. And this guy doesn't get it. He heard about Joseph and the rock and a hat, and he assumes that that's true. Hearsay. He didn't care about source information. He didn't care to check the information to find out, is that really true? Oh, the Joseph Smith papers, huh? Well, let's see what that has to say. Oh, there's some documents that show about the Danites and their attempted coup of America in 200 years from then. That, oh, Oaks ran a test run in 2024 and is still running test runs. It's a government conspiracy by a church to coup it. Government. Direct violation of verse 7. D. Todd. And so he's choosing what hearsay to believe. And you apostates who are listening, you do the same bleeping thing. I talked with Idaho chick yesterday about bleep and bleeping. We had a discussion. No man knows my history, Fawn Brody. All hearsay, no sources. People's journals are not sources. I go over it in the 3-hour video. The Joseph Smith history of 1838 is not a primary source document. It's hearsay. It is not literal history. when the literal history with the source documents is known. And so then, when you know the real history, you can then go to Joseph's visionary accounts and you can decode it and see what he's actually talking about. And I had previously set you up for it when I did the picture of the whole Knights Templar of the second vision. The whole thing is Knights Templar. And everybody misses it. Those are the facts, the sources. And those factual sources applied to the second vision now reveals what the second vision is telling us. And nobody did it. So I did it for you. Hello? 2 people, 4 hours. Not complicated. Ah, God. And so now he's trying to claim Josephine Elizabeth Taylor Roche actually existed according to Wikipedia. I didn't see a Wikipedia page for her. Let's keep looking. Maybe we should all keep looking for more information about her. Bleep you. This isn't a gang of hearsay where the popular feeling dominates facts and truth. And so, bye-bye. You have no interest in the truth. You have no interest in source information to learn the truth. You're out. Go away. That she existed is one thing, that the claims of what was done to her is another. All I wanted was the source information. I can believe it. I know what they did. They did it to other people. I have that source information. I know what they did to me. I have that source information. You just don't get it. Albert Pike, so true. And you fell right into his trap. The letter to Giuseppe Mazzini. Remember sources? I don't just trust the one source because it feels so true. I confirm. I go to other sources to try to tie it together. You're busted, shake down, take down. You're busted. BYU football is crying. Everywhere they go, the people chant that BYU sucks. Mormons suck. Yeah, religious freedom. True. Are you? Did you run the test? You can't claim to be a culture and a religion at the same time. You're no longer a culture. You're a religion. As a religion, you're supposed to tell the truth. Everybody around the world knows you lie. Even Bob knows about the rock and a hat. They don't believe you. They call you a cult. You aren't responding properly to answer and satisfy their minds. They don't believe you, no matter how much you cry about how the church is so true. You must provide sources. Hello? And so, BYU is pulling the religion card for every single game to control the behavior of other people who know this church is a fraud. Bleep you. It's bad enough that you're rewriting history on Wikipedia. So, cops in Utah are now allowed to shoot drivers who are not wearing their seatbelt. Tim Gill will let them go free. It's in the line of duty. Yeah, they're going back to the click it or ticket thing. And it's a serious crime not to wear a seatbelt. No, it isn't. It's just people who want to commit suicide. But yeah, if they've got little kids in the vehicle, the kids need to be strapped in. Otherwise, you're committing murder against those kids. You're putting those kids' lives in danger. But an adult, no, if they don't want to wear a seatbelt, oh my God, cut it out. We all know that the ticket scam is for money making. And that the cops have quotas they gotta meet. Don't try fooling us on that. We've got the sources. So, in Utah, we're now deep state Dem, trans, Antifa, furry, communist, terrorists, drug dealers, rapists, the whole long list of Trump. Because the MAGA Utah, we need to do away with GOP, guys. You're still not doing it. You're not catching on. It's MAGA versus the trans, Antifa, terrorist, furry, communist crap. I mean, can we arrange them into an acronym to use that instead? Should I do it now? We're already an hour and 20 minutes in. Oh, dear God. And the judge came out and said, no, this is gerrymandering to favor MAGA, Utah. You can't do that. The laws are very specific, even in for Utah that you yourselves made. You can't gerrymander to favor a party. And so, the one that was chosen by the judge, that was approved, now favors Democrats for the first time, or the no acronym yet. And so, yes, the Democrats are now having candidates running for the new office. They're getting all excited. And so the Utah MAGA are now claiming that the judge committed seditious conspiracy. The House Speaker, again, who hates mankind, wants to murder everybody, is stepping up and saying, we're fighting, fight, fight, fight. We're going to destroy this judge. We're going to destroy Utah. We will control Utah. Because we all know that's what it's for, to keep the authority of MAGA running Utah. And not allowing the other party to have a fair shot at winning. You know, letting the people, through voting, decide. That's why they gerrymander it. We all know this. And so that's the only reason why they're fighting. All of their claims are all BS. It's all BS. They're fighting to maintain control over Utah for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I don't understand why you're fighting. Is the test run going to continue on for years? If you wanted this solved, you should have obeyed Trump from the beginning of the year. You didn't. Governor Cox, we are locking up illegals. No, you're not. Trump's definition of illegal is not the same. And everybody who's a Democrat in Utah is on Trump's illegal list. And you didn't get rid of them. You caused the problem by disobeying Trump. I did the videos all this year. And here you are, consequences. So the Clearfield Police Department here in Utah are now mentally retarded. You fell right into the trap of psychology, you dumbasses. See, in 2008, when the police notified my parents, they tried to get my parents to lie about me. And so they said, if you can go to a psychologist for Travis's problem and then put that in your statement, that would help us out a lot, because we got no case against him. Some of my parents did. They went to a psychologist. They are now mentally retarded getting counseling from a psychologist. Under the guise of my problem. It's a trap. They need clients. You fell for it. You're the mentally retarded people. I mean, awesome. It's now been changed. It's now the Awesome Olympics. And so that is still the tactic they're using still to this day, as they are now in the school systems and now in the police departments, saying, oh yeah, you need to come and take our seminars for the people's problem. So yep, when you see your Clearfield PD, hey, you're awesome. Make your t-shirts now. Clearfield PD is awesome. Oh my God. Oh, hilarious. So, Minnesota is funding terrorism. That's the claim of Fox and MAGA So we'll see if that pans out, because nothing else does. And then, yeah, I did the video the other day, didn't I? Didn't I? It was yesterday, wasn't it? Or was it 2 days ago? Where I told you there is a way to solve this problem of Trump's pardons and Trump's acts of terrorism and destroying the Constitution, and SCOTUS destroying the Constitution. There was one simple way to fix it all. And Biden knew what he needed to do when the Dems took over government during the test run. They did not do it. I did the videos telling what they needed to do. They did not do it. They hesitated. They delayed. They denied that it needed to be done. They've got 4 years. They can wait. We want to work with our MAGA brethren. And, sure enough, because of the hesitation, he lost Cinema, and the other guy who turned-coated, and you lost your control of government. You knew what you needed to do. I told you that Trump was going to do it once he takes office again. And he did. It's a real simple fix. All you had to do was do it, and you would have prevented MAGA from taking over office again. So that this would not have happened. But you were afraid, oh no, what if they take over in the next election? They'll get revenge if we do this. They got revenge anyway, didn't they? Dumbasses. If you cannot stand up for America, you do not deserve the office. This is why everybody hates you guys. You have no spine. You extort us every election. You have to vote for us, otherwise they win. Well, you don't do anything to help us. Under Biden, women lost their rights. Under Biden, the Democrats. SCOTUS went and said, 14th Amendment, Section 1, unconstitutional. Section 3, unconstitutional. Biden knew what he needed to do, and they wouldn't do it because they said that MAGA would do it if they did it. And he did it anyway. So yes, all of Biden's signed acts are now null and void because they used the claim to justify it. Auto pen. And so over the course of time, after Thanksgiving, a lot of the stuff that Biden signed will be overturned as null and void. And so, yes, the extension that the Democrats got suckered and losered into for the record-breaking shutdown. You got punked. Or you did it willingly in aid and comfort to the MAGA party. Because, I mean, for a party to be this compliant and neglectful can only suggest that they're working for MAGA against Americans, tricking Americans to have this division from the art of war and psychology for a false dichotomy that they themselves caused, by the way, thanking their American liberators from World War II Nazi Germany. They know what they needed to do when they took office immediately in 2021, and they failed to do it. And they stretched out the hearings. Yeah, sure, great. We already knew that information. Lock them up. Remove them from office. Never have them run again. Because if you never have them run again, according to the 14th Amendment, Section 3, they can't run for office. Thus, they can't overturn your overturning. Hello? And so Trump, by calling you seditious, yeah, guess what's coming, Dems? I warn, nobody listens. The end.